Can you imagine the collision between two small stones can generate electricity and light up a small lamp? Can you imagine knocking on the door with your hand can power the LED board? And illuminate the book? Can you imagine the fluorescent tube lamp can be lit up when you walk with it in hand? It turns out that generating electricity is simple. The energy generated by gently rubbing the plastic plate can light up at least a 1-watt bulb, and even charge a mobile phone. The simple generator is made into a cylindrical type, which can effectively collect wind energy under low wind speeds and easily light up 10 1-watt bulbs. Can you imagine stepping on tiles or floors can generate electricity? 4 28-watt fluorescent tube lamp can be lit up by a car model sliding on the self-energy power road. Therefore, the world's first self-energy power road has been developed in the actual road and can efficiently collect the energy generated by friction between passing vehicles and the ground. Can you imagine viewing silk with your hand can wirelessly light up the LED board below? Can you imagine the field currently generated by friction can penetrate the 5 cm thick streaky pork and light up the LED board above? It can be applied to the wireless power supply of implanted electronic devices such as cardiac pacemaker. Can you imagine the high voltage electric field generated by friction or collision can be used for sterilization and disinfection? It has a remarkable effect on illuminating H1N1 and COVID-19. Our latest research found that the change in energy field generated by beating or rubbing the plastic plate with hands can not only wirelessly light up the LED board above, but also be collected by the nearby closed coil and generate induced current in the coils. The changing energy field generated by constantly viewing the plastic road with a static field can wirelessly light up a fluorescent tube lamp and produce an induced current in a nearby closed coil at the same time. All original discoveries were initially coming from a red dress that Professor Xia CAO purchased from Taobao in 2016. Because the dress was prone to generate static electricity, she immediately had the bright idea to test it. When she shook the dress in the air, she found that the light board under the dress was lit up. Since then, the prologue of innovation, discoveries, and inventions has begun. At that time, the dress has been cut into pieces, but it's still being preserved by her laboratory until now. Any energy theory and discoveries are the product of human stage cognition. No scientific theory is absolutely correct and immutable, and it will be constantly developed and improved with new discoveries. Through the above experiments, Professor Xia CAO proposed the theory of electromagnetic energy by collision. That is, the electromagnetic energy can be generated by the collision. We have re-examined and improved several traditional theories based on the latest findings. There is a loss of energy because electromagnetic energy is generated during each collision between the two balls when Newton's pendulum experiment is used to simulate elastic collisions. Further, we simulated inelastic collisions by colliding various non-rigid objects with the ball on Newton's pendulums. We can see that there is an electrical signal, which means there is also a loss of energy. Therefore, we can infer that the conservation of momentum and mechanical energy are both approximate by considering the loss of electromagnetic energy. Professor Xia CAO also found that when a wood block slid over a wood board, the electromagnetic energy generated by friction could easily light up the LED lights under the board. There must be an electromagnetic attraction with the generation of electromagnetic energy, so the electromagnetic attraction term may be added to the traditional formula for calculating friction and the formula for calculating work done by friction. We know that the motion of objects in a universe is eternal. As long as there is a motion, there will be interactions. The collisions of two small stones can produce electricity, and the atomic bomb explosion can be triggered by a high-speed collisions of microscopic neutron streams. Let's venture to imagine that the collision between two celestial bodies can generate gravitational waves. According to the collision electromagnetic theory proposed by Professor Xia CAO, electromagnetic energy will be generated when matter collides with each other, including microscopic objects collisions and microscopic particles collisions. There will be electromagnetic fields generated when all kinds of objects are blown by the wind. The stronger the wind blows, the stronger the electromagnetic field will be generated. Thus, the constant friction between the rapidly rotating Earth and the tiny particles of the surrounding atmosphere also generate electromagnetic fields and radiate electromagnetic energy into space. Are these findings related to the formation of the geomagnetic field? It can be speculated that the relative movements between the surface of galaxies and the interstellar matter, energetic particles, also generates electromagnetic fields, and that the hypervelocity rotation and revolution of galaxies generate super strong energy fields, and hence super strong gravity. Is this related to the formation of gravity? By refining the traditional model of gravity, the position and speed of motion of each planet can be determined more accurately. How much electromagnetic field can be generated during the high-speed rotation and revolution of the planet? Is this energy the dark matter and dark energy that fills the entire universe? Just like the unified theory of electric and magnetic fields. Electric field and magnetic fields are essentially energy fields. An energized plasma sphere can produce a changing electric or electrostatic field. Rotating a closed-circuit coil next to a working plasma sphere, she found that the induced current inside the coil can reach several milliamps, which is several times or even tens of times more than the current collected by the stationary coil. The induced output can light up a 1-watt bulb. Here we call this electric induction. In addition, she found that the induced current can be generated in the closed-circuit coil without external magnet. Moreover, when light energy, heat energy, and wind energy are applied, the induced current generated in the coil will increase. This research result further proves the collision electromagnetic theory that she put forward earlier. Air movement will be accelerated by lighting, heating, or wind blowing, and the increase of collision strength and collision frequency will lead to an increase in the electromagnetic field. In this way, the extremely strong electrostatic field near the high voltage wire, as well as the electromagnetic field generated by the radiation of nuclear reactor or nuclear waste dumping, can be collected by the rotated coil driven by the wind, therefore achieving energy recovery and effective utilization. Without external magnet, the closed-circuit coil cuts the electromagnetic field line continuously, leading to the generation of induced currents. The changing energy field can be generated by the interactions of objects. If the changed energy field is collected by the conductor, it will generate induced current in the conductor, which is what we usually call the conduction current. There is also a part of the changing energy field that is not being collected, corresponding to the displacement current predicted by Maxwell, which can wirelessly drive the LED panel and smart appliances nearby. It can be seen that the induced currents generated by the changing magnetic field corresponding to Faraday's law, and the induced currents generated by the changing electric field corresponding to Professor Xia CAO's theory of electromagnetic energy by collision are essentially the same. It's all about changing energy fields generated by relative motion, which can be collected by the coil to generate an inductively conductive current. The electric magnetic field is generated by the interaction of a high-speed train with the surrounding air. Could this be used to explain the signal interference of mobile phone on high-speed trains? The missile flying at high speed will generate electromagnetic energy loss during the flight. Is this conducive to the development of precision guidance technology? The interaction of submarine with water in the deep ocean also generates electromagnetic fields. Could this be used in new targeting technology? Where there is a changing electric field, there is induced current generated by the rotated coil cutting the field. No magnets are needed, so we can avoid the use of rare earths as much as possible. The collisional motion of the Earth's surface or interior generates a changing electromagnetic field. If we collect these electrical signals, can it be used to diagnose the Earth? Can they be used to monitor and predict natural disasters such as earthquakes and tsunamis, volcanic eruptions and landslides in advance? Professor Xia CAO has made a series of discoveries that has gone entirely from 0 to 1, overturning traditional perceptions, just like opening a door. It will have an immeasurable impact on physics, geology, astronomy, new energy, nuclear energy, military, and other fields. It will drive revolutionary and disruptive progress in related industries and the global economy.